of us want to improve ourselves. We want to be smarter, be able to talk to people confidently, look better, earn more money. We all have ambitions that we want to achieve. And the thing we turn to achieve these are self-help books. In this video, I'll share with you why no amount of self-help books can help you, what you can do to make full use of it, and where else you can apply this to achieve the best life you deserve. You have probably already experienced this. You have read countless number of self-help books over the years, but despite that, you're still not where you want to be in life. You can't remember much about what you have learned from the books you have read, and I'm sure you have wondered before if reading these self-help books are even worth the time and effort. I was there before many years back, until I started this channel. Reading books gave me many thoughts to think about, and I can't help but want to reflect and share about it on this channel. By doing so, it forces me to reflect and really think about what I've learned and what I can improve on a deeper level. It's easy to just breeze through these self-help books and jump straight to the next one, wishing that whatever we have learned will magically manifest in our lives. But that's not reality, and that brings me to this thing that I talk about, that if you don't do this, no amount of self-help books can help you. Reflection. I'm sure you have heard about this many times before, where you should reflect on what you have done in life, what you can improve on, what you have learned, essentially journaling. I used to think that it was a border journaling, where I had to waste so much time writing out my day when I could have done something else more productive. But it's not only after I started this YouTube channel, which works almost like a virtual diary, that I found out the benefits of reflection, and in this case, was self-help books. In case you have not yet watched one of my ongoing series on this channel, Life-Changing Books in 5 Minutes, I summarize and share what I've learned from the books that I've read, and immediately after the first video I've done, I can still vividly remember most of the key points from that book. On the first episode of the series, I talked about Atomic Habits by James Clear, where it teaches you how to build good habits and break bad ones. Every time I struggle on staying consistent with a good habit, I could remember what I've learned from that book, precisely because I've spent so much time preparing that episode. The preparation of the episode script forces me to sit down for hours to not just summarize it into key points, but also share my take on the whole book. Everyone has different viewpoints on everything, and how we see and interpret each book will be different, and by putting in the time to reflect on all these thoughts and opinions is essentially how you build your character and viewpoint on life. And that's important, because if you know what's your direction in life, it'll be much easier for you to make decisions. If you don't have a view on anything, you will either be indecisive on any decisions that you have to make, or you wouldn't mind any of the choices given, which will lead to unhappy future outcomes once you do find out what you really want in the future. Reflection not just helps you build your character and opinions, but it makes it easier for you to take action, which is exactly what you want to get out of self-help books in the first place. When you face a situation that comes similar to something that you have read from a book, you immediately know what's the right thing to do. For example, when I needed my colleague at my workplace to assist me on a task that I know I wouldn't like to do if it was asked of me by someone else, I immediately remember what I've learned from a book that I've talked about in episode 2 of my Life-Changing Books in 5 Minutes series, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It taught me that humans are selfish in nature, and if you want someone else to help you with something, you have to find out what they can benefit from the thing that you're trying to ask of them. And that's how I got my colleague to do a task that I needed his help with, which he was more than happy to help with, because he has something to gain from this. With that said, you don't have to start a YouTube channel in order to reflect on the self-help books that you have read. You can go about it on other ways, such as journaling, doing book reviews, or just writing notes. The whole point of all this is so that you give yourself time to really think about the book that you're reading, think about the points that you have just read, and what are your perspectives on it. By doing all these discussions with yourself, it's how you absorb the information better and truly understand what the authors are trying to teach. But the most important thing to do after reading these self-help books is to find opportunities to apply them and take action. No amount of reading and reflection will help you if at the end of the day, no action was taken. In this video, I've talked about how regular reflections on books that you have read, whether it be through book reviews or journaling, can truly help you get the most out of the books and apply them in real life. However, it's also good practice to apply this habit of regular reflection in your everyday life. Although reflecting on your day through written or typing will be good for easier reference in the future, sometimes regular mental reflections are also helpful. In regards to this method, there are many opportunities for you to reflect mentally. For example, when you're traveling on the bus, going for a run, or just chilling on your chair with a cup of coffee. I know it's satisfying to use this free time to scroll TikToks and other social media, but it's way more relaxing and mentally beneficial if you use this time to reflect on your day, what you could do better, and what other things you have learned. Just like what I've learned from the book Atomic Habits, small habits with no obvious results in the beginning, such as these, will eventually reach its tipping point when the result will come pouring in when the time comes.